Hello and welcome. It's the 15th of November. It's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon. The weather lately has been rainy, windy and generally rubbish. There's a break in the rain at the minute. The sun is out. Let me show you what I've been up to. This is the bed where I had my second lot of butternut squash. I came this week and there's no leaves left on the plant. So I took them up before they start to rot because it's quite wet at the minute. So I was leaving them as long as I could in the vain hope they were going to get bigger and in the vain hope they were going to get browner. So I've got two that are great, one that's okay, and the other two we'll see. I'm going to leave them in a sunny spot in the kitchen. Hopefully they will go brown, but I'm happy with them, but they had to come up. What I did find when I was digging through is I've got a potato plant poking its head through. No idea when or where that is from, but I've earthed it up. You never know, do you? So I've got the leeks behind me. I'm taking my usual weekly quota of about 5 or 6.
Dig. Dave. Dig.
Dig, 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 dig.
Working my way from this end that way. There's some smaller ones and I'm in two minds at the minute whether to leave the smaller ones to get bigger or to just make it easier for myself. Taking myself, work my way that way, but I'm still making my mind up on that. My autumn fruiting raspberries are still producing and it's middle of November, you can't complain at that, can you? And I found the perfect use for an action camera. Forget attaching it to bike helmets or when you're going skiing and stuff. That's what action cameras were made for. So, welcome to my kitchen for a garlic update. I wasn't going to give you a garlic update just yet, but something has happened. So, I've 3 groups of garlic. I started soaking in water last week to start them off because that's the method I use. You can just plant them straight in the soil if you want. So these ones have been recycled, kept and recycled. This is their 4th or 5th time going into the ground eventually, and they've started to, some have started to grow really small roots, one poking a shoot out the top. They were the biggest cloves. The second lot was slightly smaller. This is their 3rd time of going into the ground, and no sign of much yet there. There's some slight root growth on the bottom. And then I had a 3rd set which I took out of the ground 16 months ago. Not the July just gone, the July before that. They've been in the cupboard for 16 months. I just planted these as an experiment. And look at these. Root growth, shoot growth. This is after 6 days. Look at that. 6 days. Unbelievable. Maybe they've gone off too soon, I don't know. With things like this, when this happens, I like to know why it's happened. So why have these done that and these haven't quite yet? So I tried to find out. I looked in some books. No, nothing there. No. I looked on the internet. And I could find out the usual information. Bulbs are storage vessels for energy for the plants to help them grow, and growth might be triggered by light and heat and that sort of thing, but I couldn't find a definitive answer, and I don't like leaving you empty-handed. So whilst I was trawling the internet for bulb facts, I found out that there are things called contractile roots, and this is news to me. It might not be news to you. So I imagined roots on bulbs would just be to draw nutrients and moisture up into the bulbs, but oh no, there are garlic, onions and flower bulbs like lilies and tulips also have things called contractile roots, which grow and shrink, grow and contract, grow and contract, and they can help to pull the bulb down to a more optimal depth than what you planted it. Now, maybe not so much for garlic, where they are in the ground for very long, just a year or 9 months or whatever. But things like lilies and tulips, they're in the ground for years. So over the years, the light is the trigger, and those contractile roots will help to drag it down to the optimal level for it, where it's happiest. That was all news to me, so I hope you found that interesting. Back to the allotment. That is it for this week. Thank you ever so much for watching. Click subscribe if you haven't already. Send me a comment if you haven't already, or even if you have, just send me a comment. Thanks a lot. See you next time.